This is Matt with Alaska Blade Works. So I shot my grizzly last week, got back to town, got it sealed with Fish and Game, make sure everything was legal, and then I brought it to Grant. He's the owner of Wild Reflections. I've been using Grant for years. He's located in Shugiak, Alaska, does just absolutely amazing work, a great way to showcase and preserve your trophy over time. And he does just an amazing job in a lot of different mediums and poses and things like that. So we figured today we wanted to come out and kind of give hunters a better chance to see the intricacies of taking care of your trophy. There's always room for improvement when it comes to that. I know I do an okay job, but I'm not nearly at the level I'd like to be. So Grant's going to take us through a few things today and kind of show us the correct way to do it. We are going to be using the thin horn before I turn it over to Grant here. So the thin horn is it's our ultralight backpacking knife. It comes in at 1.2 ounces. We designed it to not only be light, but also to be a very technical blade in terms of the design. So when you're deboning or field dressing your animal, and then when you get into the intricacies of actually caping it out for taxidermy, there's enough of a point, and the blade is extremely sharp to get in and do the fine detailed work, some of which Grant's going to show us today. So he's going to be primarily using the thin horn to walk us through everything.
We're going to go through a little bit of fleshing to show you what it's going to start like when you get it off the carcass, and then what it would look like when it's finished and ready for salt. We're going to go over some paw work, pulling the bones out, and then we're going to go over what it'll look like and what the process is to get the face turned. Matt's done a really good job of skinning here. What I like to see, whether it be life size or rug, is come right up the center line of your arm. Right, this is going to be together like so. So you come right up the center line of your arm, come around to the inside of the paw and around, and that's going to separate your pad right off. And then disconnect your toes from the foot, leaving at least 2 joints in here. It gives me something to hold on to pop it out later. So say like we just got back we're sitting having a day in camp. I'm going to sit down and do all this work in camp. Right here with this part of the pad, you're going to have a big chunk of pad fat in here, cushion. So you want to dig that out. Matt's already got that done for us. We'd also dig out and flesh out a lot of the cushion pad right here. There's a little bit left. Matt's done a pretty good job there. So yeah, dang man, this is a sharp knife. That's good. So we're just gonna kind of work this off. It's easy to kind of peel it back with your thumb as you go, and then hold your knife kind of flat to the pad wherever you're fleshing this stuff, and that works for fleshing the body out as well. You'll find it, you'll cut less holes that way. It'll kind of start to look like this. You'll see some fibers coming in here, and then you're getting down to the pad, and that's as much as you need to do on the pad. So you can just keep working this all the way off, and that's getting the pad all the way down as far as it needs to go. You don't need to do any more than that. Salt will take care of the rest. All right, when we're looking at the toes here, what we're gonna do is separate all the way around the toes so that it makes it easy to pull them out. So get a hold of your skin here, and you can see the separation between the skin and the fat. And I just wanna like get in here with a knife tip and open this up. And I'm just gonna open it up in a straight line all the way down. You just wanna open it up, but not too far. If you go too far, you're gonna start cutting into the webbing between the toes. But you'll see the big tendons down in here before you go too far, so you'll know when to stop. But you can see from where it was, you know, I've opened it up probably that far already. All right, then we're gonna start on the back of the toes. And you can see it's kind of just closed off with flesh there. So we're gonna get in here and just separate the skin away from the edges of these toe bones. There's a lot of techniques to doing this, but this is what I found works for me, to be the fastest method for field stuff. I can do this when I'm sitting in camp, and it'll be the exact same technique that I'm showing you here. I would just sit down on a log or something and start working on this. All right, so we've got the toe bones opened up. You can see here's the web of the skin itself coming down in between the toes. So that, you definitely want to avoid nicking into that. Just finish your cutting all the way around to separate out this bone. All right. Now I like to go in and separate the toes. You can see that all the toes have fat webbing and everything in between. And I know where the skin webbing is down here. So I can stick my knife in here above that skin webbing and separate each toe out. Just like so. And then pick an end to start working on. Just get a grip on one of the toes. And work it down in. And you're kind of going to be just cutting circles around this toe until you get in far enough to get to the last joint. As you don't want to leave a toe bone in here to sour and make the hair let go. And just kind of keep working a circle. It can get a little bit tight in there sometimes, but having a good sharp knife with a good point like this one is really important for this kind of fine detail work. All right, then I like to get over, once I have it cut all the way around and I'm getting down deep, you can move the toe and I can see the last joint is right in here. Once I can see that, you can either attack it from the front or the back, but now you're gonna go around and nip all the little tendons and everything that are holding this joint together. Again, where a nice sharp point comes into real importance here. So there's tendons on the front, tendons on the sides, tendons on the back. And you gotta get them all, or this bone's not gonna come out for you. Then just pull, give yourself some pressure pulling out, and just keep working this down through the joint. And nip it off. There you go. You're gonna do that with each toe. Right? Comes right out to the last joint. Right there you can see this was the last joint, so that toe is empty. And then we're just gonna repeat the process.
And also too, as you can see, like when we designed the thin horn, we put jimping in 2 different spots on the spine. So Grant's choking up on the blade and really running his index finger on top to do that fine intricate work on that jimping.
Yep, yeah, that's about all the blade I need right now for this. Right, and that's awesome. It's really well placed. Boom, done. Toes are empty, down to the last one. If you can reach in here, this is the end of the claw right here, right? There's no bone left. That's the end of the claw. If you can reach in here and there's bone that you can wiggle around, you got some work left. All right, so that's that. That's how you do paws. So we're gonna move on to the nose. It's gonna look like this when it comes off of the skull. So I like to flip that lip down and away, and then what we're gonna do is open this nose up and split it to let salt get in there all the way. You can see you got some connective tissue here, and then the skin kind of balls up all the way around it. So we're just kind of working this edge on the inside here to open it up. And I just got my fingers underneath, and my fingers are feeling that edge of that nose so that I know where it's at. And you know, especially on a bear, like when in doubt, cut closer into the cartilage than to the skin. It's just much easier to repair. So if you're not quite sure, air to that side. Lou. We're gonna split it right down the middle, right down here. If it doesn't split perfect, it's not a big deal. You want to try to keep it as centered as you can, but like I said, it's not a big deal if you cut into one nostril over the other a little bit. And then work this a little bit more. The only thing you really want to be careful of is to get an even split where you're finishing the nose, which would be right at the end. So we got the two cartilage halves, and then we're going to go around and just continue to cut this connective tissue here. And I'm pushing up from underneath with my finger to get some tension on there so that I can see where to cut to open this nose up. All right, at the bottom, there's not necessarily a whole lot that's gonna be turned. It's more just kind of working this flesh and fat and stuff down off the nose to show the skin. All right, and then I'll work this edge off kind of all the way around the nose. All right, and then again, I'm gonna take maybe a little bit of a wider cut here to just work this stuff down and off the nose pad. And I just have my fingers up under there for support so that I can hold this stuff tight and know where I'm cutting. All right, and there you are. That is a split turn nose. The only thing left to do is come in and do some of that detail fleshing like I was talking about with the lips, where we're gonna work this stuff off and away so that when we start getting into the main body of fleshing, we can just fly through this now, right? Like, this is good to go here. You're all set. Matt's done a good job here of skinning, but this is exactly what he brought in after it was cut off the carcass. So just looking at this, it looks real good, but you don't want to salt it like this, because what's going to end up happening is, it's a little bit thicker than that 1/8 inch rule. And so what's going to happen is the outside's going to dry up, but the inside that's close to the skin and the hair is going to stay liquid. It's going to stay moist in there, and that's where that bacteria grows, and that's where you're going to start to have hair slippage and some hide damage. And so what you want to do is just work this stuff off. So I'm just going to show you, like in a little section right here, what it looks like when it comes off nice and tight, and then what it'll look like once it's fleshed to a spot where you'll be salting it. The best way to do this in the field is find something smooth and round to set it up, and then you just cut on the top of that round, because that just helps keep a nice tight surface to work on, where you don't have balls of hide or something like that you're going to nick with your knife and cut a hole in it. It works really well too if you got the time, skin it tight while you're pulling it off the carcass, because you got the carcass weight to pull against, and the skin is elastic. Pull hard against that skin and that carcass weight. It's going to stretch that hide out taut, and then it makes fleshing really easy. But so this little section right here is now good for salt. Right? So you can see, like, pretty much we just took that amount off of there. You don't need to go any deeper than this. That's perfect for salt.
This is a gorgeous bear. It's a bear of a lifetime for me. I've chosen to go with the full mount, life-size mount, so I'm still working on figuring out the pose. But Grant has to go through and finish his work off, get everything salted, get it tanned, and then I'll decide on a final pose. But great day with the thin horn, perfect blade for in the field, and also doing technical work like this on your trophy. So I can't thank Grant enough for taking the time and running us through this. So Grant, what's the best way for people to find you and get in touch with you?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Yeah, that's an awesome knife, man. I really enjoyed working with it for sure. Yeah, great way to find me. You can go to our website, wildreflectionsstudio.com. Same thing, you can find us on Instagram. It's Wild Reflections. Facebook. I'm happy to work with everybody and really get some custom pieces that you're really going to enjoy for many, many years to come. I ship down the lower 48 a lot. I've actually got like a big red stag and a chamois in the shop right now that we're shipping out to Montana and to Texas. If there's anything I can do to help you out with your Alaska trophies up here, just let me know.
Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And
thanks,
we're gonna try to bring some more content to later in the season. Actually try to get some animals in and show the caping process and going through that from start to finish as well.
Yeah.
Perfect.